Call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Kahakadash Brakathum. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations pursuant to Jeremiah 12:9, known as the speckled birds. This is not a black thing. I am Disciple Porium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. Now, this is a second part into the rule of three, but looking at it from in a sense, a dystopian mindset, but also tying in some scriptures and putting it into today's context. So, with that said, I wanted to read kind of what the rule of three is, just to kind of refresh. Is a writing suggests that ideas presented in threes or more are memorable, effective, and satisfying. The principle uses human psychology and information processing patterns. Now, in a dystopian setting, the rule of three can enhance the sense of control and oppression. One example is, the party slogan in the movie 1984 says, "The war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength." These are examples. These phrases repeatedly, frequently, control citizens' thoughts and perceptions. And then within this dystopian mindset, you have laws and restrictions, divisions of society, and tools of control, and false choices or illusions. Now, with that false choices or illusions, is the rule of three can present a facade of choice while subtly limiting options. It says a government might offer three pre-approved paths, all leading to the same outcome. So by employing the rule of three in these ways, a dystopian narrative can convey control, conformity, and the erosion of freedom. And the threefold structures, repetition and memorability, make the regime's control more effective. So another quote from Rule 3 is, the first day is a new beginning. The second is a test of endurance. And the third, a reminder that this is how things will be. So with that, I'm going to go to Matthew 12:26. Bear with me for a little bit. My computer is a little slow. And it reads, "And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?" All right, and that Satan is Satanas, is going to a Satan-like man. So we're starting to see kind of the beginnings of where the beast is going to hate the whore, pursuant to Revelations 17, I believe 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." And that whore is Babylon, daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great. That's here, aka America. Those 10 horns, which make up the beast, are Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England, Ireland, and West Germany. So, you go into the Burgundians, Hareli, Franks, Alemanni, Suebi, Visigoths, Lombards, Vandals, Anglo-Saxons, and Ostrogoths. And so, you're seeing that, a lot of the decisions that the whore is making is very tacky and very rash. Let's see. So basically, going back to 2 Corinthians 2:11, which we brought out in the last lesson. I'll pull that. It says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices." And again, Satan going to that Satan-like man. But more importantly is the part where it says devices. And when you get that word devices, I believe it's pronounced Noema is Strong's G3540. And that Noema goes into mental perception, a thought, evil purpose. That which thinks, the mind, thoughts or purposes. And, these videos I'm going to play are things that they're trying to do to change our minds and thoughts and purposes and to interface us and be part of the machine, if you will. All right, be one-on-one with the machines. And if we don't want to go that way, essentially, it's not going to be where this will be forced upon us. But if you take a man's sandwich away, dire things will come from that. And then go to Revelation 13. I'm going to start at verse 15 first. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be unalived." Now, what is the image of the beast? All right, it's hegemony, dominance, authority, sovereignty of one city-state over a number of others. An example would be like the vassal states that Rome had. It's no different than Rome 2.0 having the vassal states that it has today, with Puerto Rico, Guam, and so forth. And so this really began during the time of the Seleucid Empire, which was going into Hellenization. And you could read that in 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verses 41 to 43. But also going into that dominion that's given unto it in Daniel 7 and 6, and also Daniel 7 and 25. So with that, we go to, and so basically that image is starting to speak right now, and the videos I'm going to play for you are going to show that. Verse 16, it says, "And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads." Either or, and it's very, very advanced. You have the Neuralink, you have the micro C hips that go into the hand. These things are very advanced, and they're starting to speak, because you have already many people that have taken these in different parts of Europe. But that word mark goes into the word charagma. All right, and let's see. Bear with me for a second. So let's go in verse 16. Verse 16. It says, "And he causes both all small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark." So that word mark is Strong's G5480, and it goes into charagma, the Greek word charagma, and it's a stamp or imprinted mark. This is branded upon a horse. So it says things carved, or sculptured, graven work. And then when you go into further into that Revelation 13, when you go into verse, I believe it's verse 18, "Here is wisdom, and he that is understanding, count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and its number is 636. And when you go into that 636, the main word you're looking for is going to say chi, psi, stigma, and the word is stigma. Essentially, it's like an awl, but what they're trying to do is a digital awl. An awl is a sharp device that has it's kind of hollowed out in the middle, but you will see awls for protection in old fortresses and whatnot, so people couldn't get over the walls. But this awl is going to go inside. Okay. So we go into that word, Strong's G4742, and it's stigma. All right. When you read into it, it says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. It says, "In the ancient Oriental uses, slaves and soldiers bore the name of the stamp of their masters or commanders, branded or pricked, cut in their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their powers or gods. Right? So that's going into, this image, how it's speaking right now. And this is the last kingdom, all right? We're at the toes, per se, which are part iron and part clay, spoken of in Daniel's chapter 2, I believe there's verses 32. So yeah. So it's partly strong, but then you have the clay, of basically Israelites intermingled within that kingdom, but also going to the debt-based system that they have built everywhere. This is part of its image of the beast, all right? In a sense, kind of digital servitude. And all these things are being done via gradualism. And gradualism basically is a policy of gradual reform rather than sudden change or revolution. It's a policy to achieve a desired end by gradual changes. So with that, I want to go ahead and get the Fair Use Act of 1976 before we go ahead and show these next two videos. Lucky man, my dog's over there going crazy. So yeah, fair use. This will be the first video going to RFK and his wearables.
But now they want every American to wear a device called a wearable. RFK said in 4 years he wants every American to have this, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is just another precursor to get everybody later on to take the mark of the beast.
Gradualism.
That's what these things are. That's what these concepts are. It's to groom people beforehand to be okay with accepting a worldwide thing that everyone has to have. That's what this is. Apparently, a wearable is what they're introducing. It's like a watch, and you would wear it, and it will track your health, every part of your health, like everything. And it will be able to tell you if something is wrong, which in theory sounds like a good thing for sure. However, it would also track where you are, and each device will be registered to said person, and it will track you whether or not you want it to. This could be very dangerous because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, allegedly TikTok, let's say if you got a sickness, let's say if it was something like COVID, and you got COVID and they were able to track exactly where you were because the watch told them that you had COVID, and they come and they get you. Physically, they come and they pick you up and take you to quarantine or something like that. That's weird. Or imagine you just have any other sickness or illness. They can now detect that with the watch. You can't hide from it, and they're going to come and get you. Not to mention, it will be able to track a whole bunch of other things. So this is one of those things. If they say every single American has to have it, obviously they're pushing an agenda. It's not, oh, if they want to, it's no, you have to in 4 years. In 4 years, this is something you're going to have to do. That's what they're saying. And you might say, well, we already wear watches and phones, and we already have these devices checked. You have it voluntarily. This thing you will not have voluntarily. And if you don't have it, it will be greatly frowned upon.
And like I said, it could be forced, but at the same time, they're going to give you a deal, like it says in The Godfather. I want to make you a deal you can't refuse. All right?
You never know what the consequences may be. Everyone doesn't have to have an iPhone or an Apple Watch or Android. You chose to have that. This is one of the things that's going to be probably given to you for free. Beware of these type of things given to you for free. And God is doing us a big favor because he is showing us precursors beforehand. He's showing us these things that are going to take place in the future, but he's showing us beforehand to get us prepared. So if you're failing the quiz, you will for sure fail the test when it does come. So
yeah, call Allah Yahweh Shai. People are waking up, but the men of Great Millstone have been saying this for years, and the Wadi Yahweh Shai for these great men, and for Yahweh Bashim Shai to be upon them to prophesy these things, to reveal these things. Okay. So next video is going to be going into Peter Thiel and Palantir.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long
there's so many-
hesitation.
there's so many- There's so many questions implicit
Should
in
the
this.
human race survive?
This is the guy that's basically running America from the back room, and he can't answer whether or not humans should exist. Okay, he's got his tentacles everywhere, all over Trump's office. From people like David Sachs in the Office of Science and Technology Policy to companies like Palantir, if you remember, they're creating a master database on all of us, down to Doge and all the way up to the Vice President J.D. Vance. He's all over Trump's cabinet as well, from the Department of Defense to the Department of State, Department of Energy, also the Department of Health and Human Services. Let me just read some quotes from this insane interview called Peter Thiel and the Antichrist. Here he's talking about trans, and he says, quote, "The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's, man, it's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body." What the f? He also told the story of when he was at PayPal and he took his entire company to a, quote, freezing party, and that you could freeze your whole body or just your head. And this part where he's asked whether fusing humans with computers is heretical from a Christianity perspective, and he says, yeah, I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so there is a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration, it is all about transcending nature. Maybe I'm just the simpleton here, and I'm the one who doesn't get it, but I don't think we should all become computers.
You would prefer the human race.
So yeah, and this is nothing new. They're trying to get us all in one accord, and all of us in one accord. Very similar to how they were trying to do with Babylon, right? But this is obviously a digital version, and there's nothing new under the sun. That which was then is now. Okay. So, going back to Revelations 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens that are dwell in, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil," or deceiver, "is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." All right. So we see what they're trying to do, and now they're very sloppy with it. And then we have this technology that kind of help us out and guide us, but also we have the Holy Spirit. Okay. So they're trying to enact these unrighteous decrees, pursuant to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, where it says, "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievous which they have prescribed." And that's what they're trying to do. Now, I want to end off in 2 Ezra 6. I believe it's verse 28. It says, "And as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall be declared." With that, I pray this lesson was edifying to Akim Akwath, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba Babal, Shalom, Shalom.